So I've got my notebook out in front of me because I
Dude, it's not recording. No.
Did we not start it? Hello and welcome back to JobsWorth. This week I'm sitting down with producer Tom to talk all about 2 years of the podcast. JobsWorth has just celebrated its second birthday. I don't know if you celebrate birthdays for podcasts, but we have made a point of doing it. Our first episode went out on August the 21st, 2023, and this episode that you're watching or listening to right now is our 69th episode, which is just madness. So me and Tom thought it was about time that we sat down, talked about the journey to date, and then what we want to do with the future of the podcast. We put it to you, the listener, to ask us some questions, or watcher, I should say, to ask us some questions, and all three of you responded. So we had 3 questions to answer, which sounds pretty poor, but they were actually really good questions. So we do give all 3 of you that sent those in a shout out over the course of this chat. And yeah, it was really nice to reflect. I've got so much time for Tom, and the podcast wouldn't exist without him. So it was nice to get him in front of the camera and to fire some questions over to him as well. So prepare yourselves, because the proper episodes of JobsWorth return in the next couple of weeks. And in the meantime, if you enjoy the episode, then obviously rate, review, subscribe. We do remind you to do that throughout this conversation as well. And I will see you soon. Bye.
So just for clarity, we just did about 5-10 minutes.
It was really good.
It was really
gold
good.
Quality
We will put it up, because why not? The audio might not be the mic audio, but it would be the camera audio.
Yeah.
But it was a good.
It was banging.
It was a good chat.
Probably
so,
this now we're recording.
That was my fault. Being in my own house, it's just pranged me out apparently. So sorry about that.
When you're hosting though, it's really difficult, because you're trying to make sure the guest is comfortable, which in this case, I am the guest coming in at least into your home.
Yeah.
And you're also trying to get the equipment sorted, because let's face it, all I do is put stands up and then sit back.
I'm now like hyper conscious at looking at the recording thing over there.
Yeah, if you see us looking off camera, we're just going,
it's definitely recording. Okay, cool.
It's happened. It hasn't happened loads, but it's happened enough for us to be super like on it. Well, although that wasn't the best example of being super on it.
That was a terrible example of being on it or not being on it. But it's because usually all I have to worry about, again, similar to what we were talking about, usually when you're doing it, if you're doing it on your own, you've got to worry about all these different things, hosting, the cameras, the audio. Whereas usually all I have to worry about is sitting behind that computer and making sure the audio's all good. Whereas now I'm sitting here talking to you, pranging out, like, oh, is it recording? Yeah, okay, cool.
And you've also had to set the cameras up. Like historically, I think there was a lot of, the pressure was on me because I was in my office, and fair enough, it was just the audio. But I mean, one of the things I've jotted down to talk about is some of the technical glitches we've had. This is
a prime example.
This is
I can't
great
believe
timing. But it is nicer to have a team of people. So like for you now to be in the space, and to be focused on the sound predominantly, but also the camera setup, and then Rob. So we've got 2 pairs of eyes on the little red light that we can see on the cameras.
Yeah, thankfully, and pray that it stays that way. Nothing has gone since we've been doing the hatch. I don't want to jinx it.
No.
But since we've been doing the video recording, there's not been a point where we've like, oh no, the camera's turned off or the audio stops.
And I guarantee if it had been left to me, something would have happened.
I mean, it's like I said, you're juggling a lot of balls doing that.
I appreciate it. It's very kind. That's very kind of you. We'd mentioned about Gemma from Other Kids. Her episode we got 15 minutes through recording, and then the cameras just switched off, because these are the things you learn along the way. The cameras we bought, they're quite impressive for people that walk in, but they are not fit for purpose. We found a workaround.
Yeah, for long form content, they just like to turn off after 20 minutes without a hack, basically.
Yeah, the hack being now that we've got these kind of, this is for anyone that's interested in how you set up these cameras. We've got this. What are they? There you go. This is where my technical ability fails.
You're basically just, I guess, like faking a battery into a
dummy
power
battery.
a power lead, aren't you? Like, Yeah, because usually you can't run them off of the mains, so you have to do a little trick.
So anyone that's looking for a Sony ZV-1, obviously we're not sponsored by them, and we're not going to be sponsored by them after this. They're not perfect for podcasting, but this is part of what we're doing. We're learning along the way. It's part of the journey, and they do seem to impress people that walk in and see these cameras.
There's a camera in a big circle.
There you go.
Yeah,
yeah, a big ring light.
Yeah,
which is never switched on during the course of the recording.
Rob
anyway.
has the nice lighting.
Exactly. There we go. We brought Rob in because he's got all the fancy lights and stuff, and
the video guy.
Right, I've got my notebook out just because I know that we're going to go off on a tangent, Tom, if we don't have some sort of structure to the podcast. Yeah. So we're sat here today. We're basically 2 years in. We're 2 years in.
Mad.
The first episode of the podcast, we released the prologue on the 21st of August, 2023.
Wow.
And I didn't know at that time we were going to be 2 years down the line. Obviously, this isn't either of our full-time jobs, is doing JobsWorth. But to have done 2 years, what did I work out? This episode, when it goes out on Wednesday, will be the 69th episode that we've done. Yeah. As of this morning when I checked, we've had 10,481 downloads.
That is mad.
In that time.
It's mad that, it only feels like yesterday you said that we'd hit 10,000.
Yeah. Which again,
which is nice. They are progressively. It's like very linear. It's progressively getting more quicker. It does
feel like definitely since YouTube as well. That's made a difference because now we've got the audio. So that is, just to be clear, that's audio downloads only. So then you chuck the YouTube views in as well. So the numbers are looking really good.
Nice.
But yeah, me and Tom had said it's time to talk about the future of the podcast, and then we just thought we'd make an episode out of it because this officially is a break for us at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, we wanted a few weeks off.
It's a break, but then if you were to go through I wonder how, like, in length.
The WhatsApp exchange.
Yeah. Like, if we lined up all of the voice notes, how many minutes we've listened to each other. And also, podcast in itself.
How much we swear in the voice notes.
And then go, sorry, there's a swear in there.
Yeah, so yeah.
For the kids.
Yeah, because we play the voice notes around our family, so we're just like, swear, we'll text that afterwards. But yeah, I was just thinking, when I came to you with the idea of the podcast, I didn't know what the future of the podcast would be, but I don't think I ever imagined 2 years down the line we'd still be doing it and doing it regularly. Like, Tom is so pranging out about this recording now.
It just flicked page, so I was just like, ooh,
we're all
looking
right.
at the camera.
So I thought an interesting thing to do is go back and tell the story of how we met.
Okay. Yeah.
How did we meet, Tom? Do you remember it?
So the story starts
in the beginning.
Yeah, through my cousin Jenny, Jenny Bardrick. I think I was at a family do for my nan, and Jenny mentioned that she was doing a podcast, and Dean Bardrick as well.
It's a family affair.
Yeah, it is a family affair. Obviously, they're both there, and we were just talking about a podcast, Jenny's podcast. Dean was doing kind of the admin side of it for Jenny, the Jen Lister podcast, and obviously doing audio, I was just like, oh yeah, like I can definitely make that sound better for you. So I started doing obviously stuff with Jenny, and then she used to go to school with you, didn't she?
She used to go to school with me. So Jenny's an old school friend. I knew Dean, her brother. Just for this is such like a for anyone that doesn't know these people, it's going to be difficult. Yeah. Jenny was on the podcast, so you should seek her out.
Yeah, you can go back and listen to the episode.
The episode's a banger. Dean is now an employee of my proper job, which is running a recruitment agency, but he'd started to do some VA work.
We should probably get Dean on.
We could, like, where is he now?
Yeah, Dean, where you at, man?
He moved to Cornwall. It makes the travel a little more difficult. Should we ring him? We'll ring him later.
Yeah, maybe that.
We'll talk about the story of the podcast. We'll ask for a quote from him. But yeah, so Dean was doing some VA work for me at the time. And then Jenny was doing some business coaching for me at the time. So it started with Jen. Yeah. She recommended Dean for VA. And then when I said I wanted to start a podcast. So yeah, I do have to thank Jenny, and I have done before, but she was the person that, upon hearing me say I want to start a podcast, she went, well, let's do it. And that was a big part of the coaching that we did, was how to get it off the ground. Yeah,
and I remember, like, I was always quite surprised, because usually when people start podcasts, they want to get a little mic and get a little setup. But you were like, right, what's the best that I can get? What do you have? I was like, well, okay. Well, you want to get that? So yeah, sweet. So you ended up buying like really nice mics, really nice setup, which straight away I was like, I think this guy's
mad.
No, I didn't think mad. I was like, he's going to be a good podcast because he's investing like in the proper stuff that makes it sound good.
I remember you saying at the time, because I was like, yeah, I didn't really have a budget in mind. I was happy to be led, and that's not to say that it was a blank check to go out, but I knew that the biggest turn off a podcast for me was listening to bad quality audio. And I think there was one that I'd listened to, and it was just literally the audio from Zoom. And I heard that. It was Nick Frost was a guest on this podcast, and I loved Nick Frost, but I had to turn it off 5 minutes in. And that was the sign. I was like, I need to invest in some good mics.
No, it obviously makes a massive difference, in my opinion. I mean, I know everyone says it's all about the content, which it is. Obviously, you've got to be talking about great subjects, and people have got to be interested in that. But if it sounds rubbish, it's just going to get annoying. Like wherever you listen, it's got to sound good, in my opinion. Wherever you listen, whether you're in the kitchen on like your kitchen crappy radio, or whether you're in the car, like do you know what I mean? It needs to sound good across everywhere, in my opinion. So otherwise, it just gets jarring.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I think I remember the podcast now. It was Justin Long. Does I think he's still doing this podcast, and he's like an American actor. And yeah, I saw that Nick Frost was on, and up until that point, the guests had been great and the audio had been great, and then Nick Frost went on and they just used the Zoom, and I was like, I have to switch off. I'm obviously not Justin Long. I'm not an American actor. I don't have a huge following. I don't have film credits.
Why doesn't he have a good mic if he's a...
That's what I meant. Well, we could blame Nick Frost, because actually it was his Zoom mic. So why does Nick Frost
hasn't
not
provided
have a
a good
decent
mic?
But that's how we met.
I remember coming around doing the set, like obviously got the gear, did the setup, didn't we?
But I remember the Zoom call that we did at the start, and that's what I wanted to cover as well, because there was a process. Do you remember us? Again, I remember.
I know that we did one, but I really can't remember what
we were talking about the concept, and then you said, right,
because Dean was on it as well, no?
Dean was on it, yeah, because Dean had set it up, and Dean in the early days was doing a lot of the admin work and reaching out to guests once they'd recorded and stuff. But with the process behind it, because I think it's interesting, if anyone did want to start a podcast, just understanding what goes into it, and understanding what goes into the making of JobsWorth as well. But it was trying to pin down the concept, and then even stuff like the music bits, which I don't think people necessarily realise that you've done all of those musics and all of the musics
the
you've
little
done.
like what they're called stings in between.
And I don't think people understand that's you as well as doing now the video and doing the audio stuff.
Yeah, so before, like, I mean, I don't do it anymore, but must have been like 10 years before getting into the podcast stuff. I was working for an audio branding company called PHMG, which is basically they do a lot of music for advertising and weirdly for like hold music, but I don't want to say that.
Did you do any hold music?
I don't know whether they used it for, I don't really know what they used it for. They just paid me for it.
Something of yours could be on
possibly,
on a hold
but
tune somewhere.
I don't know. A lot of hold music I listen to, I'm like, that's terrible. So I know what I did is definitely not as repetitive as what some of those hold musics are. But it's a lot of brief work. You're doing things called audio logos, which are the best one I can think of is like McDonald's, like da 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 da.
Oh, right, like idents or something.
Like a short piece of music or a sound that you can recognise to a brand.
Yeah.
And also kind of obviously like longer, like a full song that's their own brand identity song as such, that can then go underneath any adverts or whatever. So that was kind of what I'd like. I actually don't do that. I haven't really done that much anymore at the moment, but that was kind of, again, a big part of that conversation, wasn't it? It's getting all those kind of different bits.
Because I wanted a theme tune. And again, there has to be an element of ego when you go into starting a podcast. You're like, if I'm going to host a podcast, I have to believe there's something about my ability to do it that means I'm going to invest some money in it. But I also wanted a theme tune. I thought that was really important, just to have like that identity. Yeah,
because I mean, there's loads of websites that you can just go on and pay whatever to get the license.
Even more now, right?
Well, there's even more now with bloody AI. But you can just kind of, I don't know, pay a small licensing fee, and they give you the rights to that beat or piece of music, whatever you want to call it. But the problem with that, in my opinion, is that anyone can then go and get that same one. So, I mean, and if that doesn't bother you, that's fine. Like, that's all good. But if you want one that's yours and yours only, then you need to have it kind of made in a bespoke way, don't you?
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I just wanted something that was, it was bespoke. It was tailored for the podcast. And I just
you
remember
gave me, like, your list of references.
it was Wes Anderson.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
basically in my head. I just wanted like something Wes Anderson. What was the? I don't even know how you describe it, but kind of like it is upbeat. It is quite uplifting. I think there's an energy and a dynamism behind it. But there was a few versions.
There was. I think I did 6 or 7 kind of smaller loops as such.
All of which I would have been happy with.
But then we
had
kind
to
of was like,
pin
that
one.
one's cool. Let's work more on that one. It's got a cool quirkiness to it as well, I think.
Like Wes Anderson films. That's the whole thing that I wanted to kind of put into it.
But yeah, that's
why that works
that's
with
the song.
JobsWorth
Yeah.
and the topics we talk
it's
about.
weird,
I've got no
isn't it?
idea.
As soon as, again, now we're doing more of the video stuff, as soon as you put a visual to it, it almost makes the music even more connected to the podcast, because you go, of course it's JobsWorth, because it looks like that. And it kind of all comes together. But it's weird how that did just come together.
And also now we've got the YouTube intro, which is that video. It adds another layer to it, doesn't it? So that was your friend John Stone. Yeah. So we've got John to thank for doing the intro. But I think you tie it all together. I'm biased because it's my podcast.
I think it's sick. Sick, good sick. Yeah.
We're hard on ourselves though. Like we critique it. You can say sick. I think the masses will know what that means. But yeah, I think we're pretty hard on ourselves as well. Like we've got standards, and we want to make sure that what we're putting out there. I mean, you are incredibly hard on yourself for the quality that you're striving for.
Of a perfectionist. Yeah. I remember, when you were doing the podcast, like the first few ones, and I was just like, oh my god, this room is so echoey.
Yeah, because it was a high ceilings like the room we're sat in now.
It was
your
quite
front room.
a small-ish room. So the sound was just bouncing up everywhere. But that's the other thing that is probably good to note, is that you can get great gear, but if you're in a room that's really, really echoey, the mics are still going to sound echoey.
Well, what you can't see off camera now is that we've got soft furnishes in here, we've got a rug, and we've also got what do we call these, like acoustic board type things?
I call them like bass traps, but they basically just deaden the sound.
Without getting too technical.
And then I'll do
does make a difference.
Yeah, do some extra bits with some tricks on the audio stuff. But yeah.
What we were contending with at the start though, because Tom obviously wasn't in the room as well, but a lot of sirens.
Oh yeah.
A lot of building work going on outside the window.
Because again, it was a slightly smaller room. I think in the summer it got very hot, didn't it? So you have to open the
Seagulls.
window. Yeah, open the window, and then you get all kinds of...
And the weird and wonderful folk that used to come down through the conservation area as well. So there was a lot to contend with at the start. But yeah, I think very quickly there were some episodes where this is where I learnt the quality of what you could do. Because going into it, I'm like, okay, well, what's the difference? Realistically, what's the difference from what you're going to do to this sound, from the quality of the mic to what actually goes out? And then very quickly, I was sat in the room having some of these conversations going, no way is he going to be able to reduce that background noise. And they just come through and just sound completely crystal.
It is funny because looking back at those earlier ones, because it's worth saying as well that obviously I'd done Jen's podcast and I've got like, at that point, probably like 12, 13, 14 years of experience with audio, but I hadn't, and I've mixed like voices, but usually singing. So to do dialogue is different. So I hadn't done a lot of dialogue stuff, but now when I look back, I'm like, I obviously there's been more tools and innovation in audio since, and even in them 2 years, I'm like, I could have probably reduced that background noise more.
That's what I mean though. That's how your brain works.
My brain's like, maybe I should go back through those episodes and just quickly read.
Man. I get it though, but I think that how much you push yourself for that quality is a big reason why the podcast sounds as good as it does, and now looks as good as it does, because you are just in your brain all the time going, how can I get better? How can I get better?
Yeah, school of YouTube, as you like to say.
There you go. So that is, Luke introduced me to that phrase, but again, Luke who came on, previous guest, but yeah, I'm not that person. Like, I want to get better, but the amount of plates you're spinning and the amount of time you want to throw into learning, I find that very inspiring, man. I think it's great.
I think it's weird, isn't it? Because yes, I'm learning, but when you are really interested in something, I don't see it as learning. Right, okay. And it's a bit of a weird example, but for years, less so probably when COVID hit, because I basically I'm going to go into talking about gaming. But I used to game a lot in COVID. But before that, I never had a console for years. And the point I'm getting at is that for fun, like if I was chilling, like my mates might, I don't know, like sit and play some games or whatever. I would just like watch something on audio or learn something or sit and do a beat. That's my idea of fun, is making music or learning a new technique, or like I just found it really fun. So in my head, it's not like learning. That's also going back to school that I wish that that I guess it's hard with teachers. They can't personalise learning for each child.
You've got to do it to like 30 kids
exactly.
at a time.
So I
or
appreciate
whatever.
that, but I feel like I would have done probably better at school if they'd put it into a context where I wanted to learn. Like I was rubbish at English, but if they'd have started talking about how I could apply that to maybe writing some lyrics or doing some stuff like that, I would have thought, oh, this is really cool, you know?
So it's more like a focus on the end goal, and then you just want the tools to be able to get to what you want to do.
I've got to enjoy
so if
what
there's a
I'm doing.
target-
So to me, again, go back to school, the YouTube thing, I don't see it as putting time in to learn, because I'm just doing it as fun anyway.
Yeah, got you. Well, that's good. I mean, and the podcast benefits from that. I benefit from that. And the experience that people have that tune in and watch every week or one episode or whatever. I'd like to think we've got more regular listeners and YouTube fans. We're not using the word fan. I had banned myself from saying
fans.
that. But like, there's people that follow the podcast now and are watching it on a weekly basis.
Subscribe to the podcast.
It's
so hard to get people to subscribe. I just put it out there, like.
But that's great. Yeah. I think Stephen Bartlett has fucked that up for everyone, doing his little clips where he goes, "Excuse me, I just want," and he whispering down the mic. But it is worth, and now we have to do it because it's worth reminding people you need to subscribe, because that just helps with the
massively with like the YouTube growth and trying to like bring money back into the podcast. So you can invest in more
not out of your pocket if you subscribe to it. It just shows that there's traction and that there's engagement.
I swear, like most most YouTube channels, unless you're just like crazy like Mr. Beast or something, generally like have something silly like 80 to 90% of people that watch their videos aren't subscribed.
I think you looked through the numbers on our one, didn't you? And said 91% of people that are watching and for good periods of time as well aren't engaging and not.
It depends if you. Ultimately, it depends if you use YouTube a lot, I guess. Because for me, the only reason I have a YouTube account is because when I watch a YouTube video, I'll save it in my playlist on YouTube, so I can then go and see and watch what or re-look at techniques that I've learned or whatever. But maybe to other people, they're like, well, why do I have to then sign up to make an account? So I get it. It's not as simple as something like Instagram where everyone just usually automatically has it on their phone. So to click a follow, it's like, sweet. You actually have to then actively go and set up your YouTube account and But
it's worth us saying it now, so then I don't have to record a separate video to kind of slot into this. If you could subscribe on YouTube, it would do us a massive favour, and also rate and review the podcast wherever you're listening. Thank you. There you go. And then Tom will stick a sound effect in. With the so we talked about music and we talked about tech. I think the quality of the mics and stuff, again, helps, doesn't it? But you gave me all of that guidance when we first started. So I didn't come to you with a blank check, but you were great at just advising.
Yeah, I mean, I think I gave you a couple of different.
I think
options.
I'd asked for bandings or whatever.
Like a kind of 3 different bandings, and you were just like, sweet, let's go for the top one. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's because again, at that stage, it's real glib, and it's not a throwaway comment to say, "Oh, why not?" But I was thinking, if I'm going to do it, I want to try and commit to doing it properly. And again, if the sound going into these mics is making your job easier, then that's a good thing.
I mean, you can, you can't polish a turd, can you? So if you've got a rubbish, or you can, but it's still a turd. So the better the mic, the better it comes out usually.
I've not heard you can't polish a turd for years, and I think I'm going to use it more.
Yeah, or glitter on a poo.
You can roll it. You can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Okay. How? So again, what I wanted people to do when I put this shout on Instagram is send loads of questions in about the podcast. They didn't do that. So we've got a handful of questions about the
We can
podcast.
just pretend that they did. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, sweet.
So, Mr. Jones, no, I don't know. I could have made up a proper name. But I thought people might be interested in how we pick guests and how we select guests to come on. Because what I'm finding as the podcast grows is a lot of people get in touch to see if they can come on the podcast, which is amazing. And I'm so grateful for any message that comes through. It's worthwhile. I'll just take this opportunity to apologise for anyone that does message and I don't respond to, because this is a side hustle. This is not my full-time job, and some of the messages we're getting just get lost in the absolute mix.
It's just it's a lot, isn't it? There's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. And you're not, like I said, you're not actively not applying for. It's just you've also got your full-time job, as well,
which pays for the podcast to happen. I think for a lot of people that maybe see certain guests come on, they're wondering, okay, what's the selection process? For me, the whole purpose of the podcast is to talk about people that have changed their relationship with work. I work in recruitment. I have conversations every day with people that have been doing the same job for decades and want out of that job. They know that they don't want to be doing it anymore. They've got a passion project. They've got a hunger to do something else, but they're stuck. And the podcast was just an idea to have conversations with people that have made that break or gone over the fence or thrown themselves in at the deep end in the hope that it inspires other people to do the same thing.
Yeah, inspiring change. Yeah.
Exactly that. So stories that inspire change. So if you are someone that has changed your relationship with work, there's a very good chance that you are ticking all the boxes. And I have to caveat that with everyone's story is worth telling. It's just that we are not going to be the podcast that can showcase absolutely every story out there. Yeah. Which is a shame.
When you've got a kind of a vision and a goal for the podcast, if you said yes to everyone, it's very, very hard to keep that vision aligned to what you're doing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because if I don't know, there's other businesses that are like, or people that want to come on and they might have a great story, but if it's not keeping to like that core line of what the podcast is about, then it kind of veers off to something that maybe you didn't start it for in the first place, and what you might enjoy, the stories you want to actually tell, you know?
And I think, speaking candidly, part of the reason we're having this sit down as well is to kind of get back on track with what the core message of the podcast is. I've loved like nearly 70 episodes and I've loved every single conversation that we've done.
For sure.
But I do think, mate, we've not got lost along the way, but there's definitely this kind of refocusing now of going back to that. What was the core idea? What was the key thing that I wanted to get across? And it is people that have decided, no, I can't do this anymore, or I don't want to do this anymore. You don't have to have a career change, but there has to be something where you've gone, I'm not going to carry on doing it that way. I'm going to do it for myself, or I'm going to go and completely change career. And they're the people that we want to be showcasing their stories and want to be hearing from. And we've been so lucky. People put so much trust in us. There are people that shit themselves when I ask them on the podcast, and they're coming in and you can tell they're nervous, or they've directly told me that they are nervous. And to see them relax into the conversation and hopefully be able to look back on something one day and go, oh, that was really good. I had a chance to reflect and be proud of myself is the hope. If they listen to it. A lot of people don't.
Or they watch it and they're like, oh no. And then they, again, get 5-10 minutes in and they're like, yes.
I think that's it. But yeah, like so many guests that I've spoken to go, I can't listen back to the episode. Because they just cringe hearing their own voice, or they're very... I don't get that.
Isn't it something like, I don't know if I'm making this up, but I feel like the voice that you hear just isn't actually the voice that is your voice.
But
do you know
would
what
you say
I mean?
that
So
now,
is that probably why?
After listening to yourself on a mic and hearing your voice back, my voice now... So I used to have a disconnect with it, and I'd hear my voice and I'd be like, that doesn't sound like me. But obviously, the more I listen back to myself...
You just get used to it.
I think you just get... But now I do understand what I sound like.
Yeah.
But if you told me 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and I'm watching myself back in videos, I'd be like, oh, do I sound like...
So one of the main reasons is your ears are like this. Your mouth is here. Yeah. So unless you can twist your ear and put it in, I mean, you can't necessarily hear exactly how your voice sounds.
And you're also hearing your voice as it kind of resonates out of your body, right? So there has to, without getting, this isn't a science podcast. This is a biology. Yeah. We need Huberman to come on the podcast and have a chat about ears and sound and stuff. But anyway, I just thought that was... It's also interesting, that people that I want people to listen back to this in 10 years' time, listen back to the conversations and just feel like whatever they're doing at that point, I'm proud of that. That's a nice point to reflect on.
I do think there's a lot of value in that. To be able to then look back, like show your
where
kids.
You've come.
Yeah, things like that.
That's it, exactly. So yeah, that's a bit of insight into how we select guests. I think we've been very lucky, as I said, that so many people have trusted us to tell their story and help telling their story. And yeah, long may it continue. We're very lucky to have a lot of inbound requests to come on. And also we have some goals ourselves for guests that we want to get on as well. And targets, which sounds like we're now headhunters.
Who would be your, can you think of like an ideal guest?
So one of the questions,
like even if it's like really hard to reach. One
of the questions I was asked. So Phil, bless you, Phil Howe, who's a mutual friend of ours. Yep. Phil, I've known for years. Phil sent in 3 of the 5 questions that we've got.
Go on, love it. Without Phil, would be fucked.
Yeah. Should we ask? Should we ask Phil? Yeah. We'll ask Phil. We're going to ask your questions. What was it? Here we go. If you could interview anyone locally or worldwide, who would it be? And that was a question that he asked. So that's basically your question. You tell me first. Yeah. What target have you got? Anyone. It could literally be anyone, and not me interview them. Who would you want to sit down and interview?
There's just so many cool, inspiring people.
You can only pick one.
So it's like, do I go down a music route in terms of like who I'd love to meet and talk to, or like an actor because I like movies and that? I guess.
Think of it if the outcome is a podcast episode, but your own one, doesn't have to be a JobsWorth episode.
Do you know what? I don't know. Maybe someone like John Mayer would be pretty sick.
Nice. Okay. Do you like John Mayer's music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to. I mean, to be fair, I haven't. Recently, I've not really been listening to it, but he's always there. I'd always have him on at some point. And I do love his music, and he's a freaking awesome musician. So to have a conversation with him would just be interested in general, like regardless of even if it was about music. I'd just be like,
what would you ask him?
I was going in there, I don't know. Stuff.
Well, just one question.
I don't.
There you go.
Yeah, stuff.
I think you might have to prep for it before you do it.
Oh, for sure. Like you do. Yeah. That's why you're a host and I'm not. I'd be like, you're right, mate.
But try and think on the spot. Just think on the spot. What is one question you might ask him? Not the one question, but what would you ask him if you just?
What's your process of making a great song?
Okay.
Something like that. I mean,
it's a good question.
Yeah, I've watched various bits of him talking about that, or like, how do you take an idea that you have and then develop that? How do you sieve out the crap ideas from the good ideas?
I love that. I love both those questions. Yeah. Now I want you to ask a question that he's never been asked before. Something you're still interested in.
I can't even say that. Sorry.
It opens up too much, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. So John Mayer. Yeah, so that's Tom's answer. You're now thinking about the one question you want to ask.
Very weird. My brain's odd.
If I could find locally, and I'm going to say it like one person, and when people say no to come on the podcast. And it's never been, no, I don't like your podcast, I'm not coming on. It's always, I don't know if I'm a podcast person. That's usually the thing. That makes them more of a target. So locally, Ian at Little Finn Roastery.
Right.
There's a coffee shop in Lee. I hope you watch this, Ian, because I need that guy to come on the podcast. I just love everything that he's built. I love the brand. I love the coffee, and I want this guy to come on the podcast. And he's been very kind and just said, I'm not the podcast guy.
Yeah,
but he's definitely someone locally that I want to come on the podcast. So he knows that. I've spoken to him in the coffee shop about it, and one day I'm going to wear him down and get him to do it. So Ian, please come on. And like a big star, like Philip Pullman, who's my favourite ever author. He's come up in conversations on the podcast before. He wrote my favourite ever book series.
Who's that? Is that who you went to?
So yeah, I went to an evening with him and he was being interviewed. And it was just incredible. Like I've read, this guy has been like an integral part of my life, his work at least, since I was 11. So yeah, 27 years.
Yeah.
To sit down with him, he's now in his 70s, and to sit down with him and talk about his life. and just really try and ask questions that, just probe a little bit more into him as a person. But yeah, so Philip Pullman for me. He tweeted me back once. And it was one of the best days of my life. Yeah. And
I thought it was Carol Smiley. No?
Oh shit, Carol Smiley. That was the second best day. And then it's the kids after that. But yeah, Philip Pullman tweeted me back. Carol Smiley resharing the Instagram where we talked about me fancying her. I was just so happy. I remember texting you. I was like, shit, Tom, Carol Smiley is...
Get her on the podcast.
And I did message her asking her to come on the podcast. She read it. She liked it.
She inspires change in rooms. That's that joke for you.
That's a good one. That's going to be a social clip. I really enjoyed that one. Okay, so Phil, I hope that answers your question. I am going to throw this in there because he has asked this before. What's your favourite sausage?
I don't know many. Oh, chorizo. Is that a sausage? That is.
Oh, yeah, I'd say that's a sausage.
Yeah, I like chorizo.
I'm going to say party.
In like a paella or something. Yeah. A what, sorry?
Party sausage.
A party sausage. Well, like they don't have them with pineapple, do you? Just
you could just stick it on a cocktail stick. Yeah, keep them in the fridge in a little pot they come in. Yeah. Okay, so Phil, there's your answer to what's your favourite sausage. Charlotte de Bonsayer, who was another previous guest of ours, has asked, where do you see the podcast in 5 years? Wait a minute. Big goals! ! She put in the question. So where could we see?
It's hard because you could answer that with big goals, but then are they realistic? Do you know what I mean? You've got to have a,
you've got to shoot your shot at some point.
Yeah, but then or do you set it realistically, hit it, and then set it again, and then?
Do you know what? I personally think the answer to where do you see the podcast in 5 years?
Bigger than Joe Rogan, bang. Do you know what I mean?
That's Joe
mad
Rogan
goals.
is sat on the end of Tom's sofa chatting shit with us, or we're asking Stephen Bartlett my mum's question.
Yeah, that'll be
at the end.
That'll be sick.
But in real terms, if the podcast is still going in 5 years,
that's an achievement in itself.
I mean, can you imagine a world where that's happening? I'd love it.
Yeah, I'd love it as well. It just depends how it grows, isn't it? Because it's a lot. It's as you said, as we said before, there's a lot that goes into it. So it's nice to see it grow. And if it kind of plateaus, it's like, oh, do you know what I mean? So hopefully it won't. I mean, so far we keep stepping things up. Video.
Video.
Well, video. But no, but like in general, like maybe like there'll be a news. We take a break, and then the music's been updated, or like we're constantly
You're always tinkering with stuff
trying
in
to
the
make some things better. I forgot my point now. But like, I guess it's the same with like getting reaction for people. Like the Instagram's getting starting to get more followers now. That's nice. Starting to get more views and listens, and as long as that keeps rising,
going the right way.
Exactly. I think if all of a sudden like no one's watching, you'd be like, well, what's the fuck?
There needs to be results that correlate with the increase in the effort that we're putting in. And because this is a passion project, because this is not a money making endeavour, I mean, I would love it in let's say 5 years' time or at any point in the future that it's generating some revenue.
In fact, that's probably the first goal.
That's the first. It has to at some point, because otherwise,
to self-serve itself.
Yeah, exactly that. So, generating some revenue. I would love. At the moment, I'd like to think we've built a nice community in Lee. Although we've had guests from further afield, it was never my intention when I started to make it a Leon C podcast. But Leon C is just this never-ending, bottomless pool of amazing people to speak with. Yeah, it really is. But I would like to see the audience and the guests and everything grow and come from further afield. And that's as easy as inviting people from further afield. So I think that will happen. I'd also love, we talked about this, so me and Tom would also like to do other podcast ideas together. Create a suite of different things, not just JobsWorth, but you've got some amazing ideas, and we just need to.
Yeah,
we need
some
to be doing
ideas
those.
for podcasts, but need other people. We can't do. You can't host, or I can't do every podcast idea that I have.
The ego in me, we would love to do it. But no,
if they were all doing really well, then great. But do you know what I mean? Like, you need other people.
Yeah, I definitely think
it's time, isn't it? At the end of the day, like it'd be great to do more podcast idea.
I really want to do a documentary. I think with Rob in the mix as well, it would be so good. It's just coming up with a really compelling idea and a story to follow.
Interactive. I mean, I don't want to go too into.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one.
There's lots of
But yeah, there's some good ones. Anyway, so that is another view, and then also like our own studio space, which as a teaser is closer. And it's not because we're making a load of money from the podcast, we're making zero money from the podcast. It's just that if we could find a space that I could operate my actual business from, but there would really be a podcast studio where we could, bless Tom, what you're seeing right now is amazing. He's had to turn his house upside down to get this set up today, so I'm incredibly grateful for it. But to have a space that you could just set dress
and
make it look amazing.
Cameras, well, I assume they would be set up. We have to get insurance, make sure no one nicks them.
Yeah, but we're close. We're close to that happening. I feel that's one of the goals that kind of
that again is saves time, and that's something we've been talking about recently as well. Is like how can we make those processes all these little things that we do for the podcast more efficient to save time, so then we don't have to.
Because I love speaking to you multiple times a day, but we don't need to speak as much as we do. Because half of it is, have we done this? Yeah. Are we chasing that? Wait a minute, were you doing that or was I doing that? Yeah. And that's amazing because we get on, but there are definitely ways we could be making it slicker. And you've got two young kids. I've got two older kids, but they're still young. Yeah. And trying to be present dads, trying to make money doing other things, and trying to do the podcast is... Yeah, and evenings, juggling. Recording in the evenings, like you're missing time with your family, I'm missing time with my family for something that we enjoy doing, otherwise we wouldn't do it. But anyway, I don't know if that answers your question. We've covered a couple of points there, Charlotte, so maybe it did. Who's been one of your favourite guests so far, Tom?
See,
I know you shouldn't have favourites, but who do you think?
Well, my favourite episodes are the family ones, so your mum, your brother,
so
or
right
your
at the start.
Well, or your one, but you famously call your brother's one still, even though Luke is interviewing you.
Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't. That's for another reason. Then it doesn't feel like my episode. Yeah. Although it's me being asked a question. Luke did such a bloody good job of that.
He did a great job. I like those episodes because I can see that family chemistry, and I can hear it, and I can the banter, and that, especially with you and your brother. More so, I guess, on your episode, when the first video episode we did, the little looks that you give each other, when things like that just make me absolutely crack up. And I just can relate to that a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It was a lovely. I mean, the behind the scenes on that experience, though. So just recording,
and I'm really gutted that the recording didn't, because there was a big section with your mum, Lisa,
switched off. Oh yeah,
that didn't get used, where Lisa walked in and you had a bit of a mid conversation going on, and the mics just weren't on. But
oh mate, they jibbed out, because this is at a time when we're first starting to record, so I hadn't set my laptop up properly, so all of the software was running through the laptop. The laptop screensaver obviously switched on, which completely then jibbed out all the recording. Then the cameras switched off part way through. It was just hell. Like,
it was about a 4 hour, 5 hour.
You did such a good job on that, because I just remember saying to Tom, I think at the end of that recording, I was like, the podcast is done. I'm never recording another episode.
We don't need to do video, like, just fuck it off.
And then what you managed to turn that into something I can watch back and be really proud of and happy with, but that is because of the work you did. But there's so much of that podcast on the cutting room floor, and most of it is my mum walking in uninvited and me losing my shit a little bit. You probably got an insight into the dynamic between me and my mum, because I remember her walking in and going, I was just like, are you serious? Like, you knew we were doing this?
Thought, you're still going, you're still recording. God, starting to go, it's lunchtime.
At that point, it wasn't that bad. Like, we were halfway through, and then she sat in the corner. This is again, I don't know if you can hear it in the episode, but she's just like, every now and again, just sitting there laughing at what me and Luke are saying. And there's some looks that I give her. I just turn around like, what the fuck? But anyway, I love my mum to pieces, but she does annoy the life out of me. But that's nice. I'm glad, and I'm glad that it's
obviously
you.
I will say, obviously, all the I'm not just saying this. All the guests are awesome, because we get not only to me and obviously with the video ones, me and Rob get to experience it there live. Yeah. We've also got the pre bit, but that everyone doesn't see, and the after conversation where we're talking to the guests about bits and bobs, and everyone's lovely. All the episodes are awesome. Like, I'm not even just saying that. Like,
everyone is lovely.
We haven't had a dickhead guest. So don't be one. But no, but do you know what I mean?
We generally haven't. And also, it makes like we've made friends with the podcast.
Yeah.
I've like the guys that I've met through the podcast who run the charity Time, Mark and Mike. I now work in an office with them. Like, and there's just other people that you meet in the Broadway. Like, you can't stop but chat and have conversations with these people because you do connect. And it's quite an intense 90 minutes most of the time to have that conversation and get to know someone. But yeah, I feel very lucky to do it. And I also feel so much happier now we've got a team in a space because it's almost like a little live audience there when you're recording. So you can be, not that you guys make any noise, it's weirdly silent, but you can kind of sense if you ask a question, there's just a sense of like, oh, I've asked a good question there, because there's like a palpable change of energy, which is nice.
And like, I say this because genuinely, like when I'm sitting there behind that screen, to the guests that have been on, I am genuinely really listening. I feel
most of the time,
90%. No, I am, like, because it is really interesting what everyone has to say, to the point where like if I even pick up my phone, I feel like I'm letting the guests down.
Really?
It's weird.
Even though they can't see you.
Even though they can't see me. I feel like it's rude.
Well, look, I kind of agree with that. I think a big focus for me from the very start was the experience that the guest was having, because I remember like we could have changed bits and pieces, or like the mic positioning could be different, and I was like, I still want the guest to feel like they're comfortable and that they're having a conversation. That's
the balance between technical and making people comfortable. Yeah, yes, I want the mic to be positioned in a way where it's going to sound great, but I also don't want to make the guest be really self-conscious of this big old thing in front of their face. Do you know what I mean?
If they're not used to it, it is a bit off-putting. And especially when
it just reminds you that you're being recorded right now, that can be quite daunting.
Yeah, whatever you say is going to be immortalised, and you've got to be ready for that.
But we can edit it out.
And you've done an amazing job. We've had guests, and I don't mind naming this guest because I know she'll take it in the spirit it's intended. Annie was particularly wiggly, wasn't she?
What was that?
Do you need to get that? Was that a door knock?
It was a door knock, wasn't it?
Oh, this is fun. Let's see who's at the door. Watch Tom get out. I love that. Just to cover off, we'll wait for Tom to get back to cover off completely what's happened there.
Should we reach out to them and see if they want to sponsor it?
What is it? What's the name of the company?
Crystal Home Improvements.
Crystal Home Improvements. I don't know. Look, I'm not knocking them.
I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure if it aligns with.
It's not the sponsor we're after. But Tom has just said the immortal. Tom's just said the immortal line. I can't speak right now. I'm recording a podcast.
Yeah.
That woman's either walked away thinking, "What a twat," or "What are they doing in there?
Yeah.
What podcast is it?" Right, I've got Rogan in the back. Sorry.
Now you said that. Now I feel like a twat. Thanks, mate. But sometimes I don't think what in my head. I'm like, oh, it's fine. Of course she'll understand. I'm recording a podcast and I can't speak.
I was waiting for her reaction and maybe like, what's she going to do with that? She's walking off. But anyway,
right.
Anyway, that was a
nice little digression.
So it wasn't your camera.
No.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't remember what we're up to now. We're having a really good flow.
Why is it we've had this?
Favourite guess?
No, it was to do with cutting things out, and Annie. Yeah.
So let's go back to that point. Annie was particularly wiggly. That's all I was going to say.
I loved it. She was just like, "Oh, Tom, you can cut that bit out," as if I could do it live.
She was producing
I loved that.
I loved that.
It
was
made
really
me crack
good.
up, but it actually made it quite easy to edit.
Annie's is one of my favourite. Yeah. I think because it started and I just knew Annie was nervous, and then she just eased into it, and I just love the way she communicates. She's so like I don't know, just so easy with it. Her whole manner was so great.
That was a great episode.
But it took 10 minutes and then it just switched, and I was like, I really enjoyed that one. And then she directed the photo shoot at the end to get her cover photo done.
Yeah.
She was brilliant. She was great. I'll go on. Right, do you know what I've done? I asked Mum for a question.
Oh, nice.
So we have to end, like we're having a conversation. The closing tradition on the podcast is Mum asking a question. So she has sent one in. I haven't listened to this one. I genuinely haven't listened to it. Okay. So let's see what it is.
I feel nervous. That's weird. Yeah, I don't know why.
You've heard a conversation with my mum?
I don't think I ever spoke to Lisa, no.
But you've heard her voice.
I've heard her voice. Yeah, I've edited her voice many a time.
Right, okay. So let's see what she said.
Hi, Tom and John.
Oh, that's nice.
What's the least enjoyable thing about working together?
Love that, Lisa.
Go on, mate. I'll let you go first.
That is a hard question, though. Like, genuinely, it's a pleasure to work with you.
I've got a lot, mate. I've got a long list.
Oh, God.
I'm joking. That is. We wouldn't have been doing it 2 years, right?
No.
If it wasn't fun.
I'm just trying to think, yeah.
What's a challenge, though, for both of us?
I think, realistically, say maybe a challenge, because I know what I'm like. In terms of time with doing stuff, sometimes if I'm doing other bits around the house or with the kids, I cram things in a little bit, like it may be more into the evening, and sometimes I'm up later, and then I might message you something, and obviously we probably have slightly different times when we go to bed and stuff like that.
We have very different times.
I'm trying to be like, and sometimes that's not a bad thing about working together, but sometimes that can be
there's a misalignment of
because
when we're willing to communicate. I think
there might have been one or two times where you might have sent over like audio for something, and I've not checked it during the day because I've been with the kids, gone to start work in the evening or whatever, and it's got a bit late. Then I've realised, oh shit, like something's wrong with the audio. Messaged you, and it's probably a little bit too late. And then if you've not seen it or whatever, you've gone to bed.
Yeah.
Maybe but even that's minimal. That's me trying to actively find something that might.
That's probably my one as well.
Yeah.
And it's just the most. It's not something I dislike.
Not even a bad,
it's just a challenge because you like sometimes when I log onto WhatsApp in the morning, I'm like, Tom went to bed at like 2:30. and you've got young kids, so half the time I'm thinking it must have been a wake up in the evening, but I actually probably more than likely it's because you've been up on YouTube watching something or trying to perfect something or whatever it is, you know.
Or like because the episodes obviously they're like an hour and a half, sometimes hour 40. To export that, like not only obviously the edit takes time to export that, even though I'm not doing anything while it's exporting, that might take an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. Yeah. And then to upload it to YouTube, that's again whatever. So if I finish my edit, let's say like, I mean, usually I do try and have the edit done at least towards the end of the weekend, but at least by Sunday, Monday. The episode goes out on Wednesday.
That's mad, isn't it? We are changing that. Yeah. We are going to change that.
But if there's something, say, not necessarily wrong with it, but like we need to tweak something, and I've done it and I've left it too late, even if I finish, say, at like 10 on a Tuesday, because I've got football as well. So go to football, come back, get at 10. If I've got to export and then upload that, I might be up till like 2, 3. There was an episode recently, something went wrong, and I ended up staying up till like 4 in the morning sorting it out. Oh no, I went to.
You had to re-upload a YouTube.
Yeah, and
video.
I went to bed, set an alarm, got up at like 4 in the morning or something like that, just to check on it.
But those are the days. This isn't a comment on some. This isn't an answer to Mum's question at all. But those are the days where sometimes I'm sat there in the morning after like trying to get everything ready for the Tuesday and scheduling all the social posts and doing all this, and then you wake up on the Wednesday and I know you've had to do that, and I'm like, is this worth it? Is this worth it? But that's how committed both of us are to trying to get stuff done. I mean, in that scenario, it shows your commitment much more than mine. But yeah,
but I do think that when we've talked about it a lot recently about making those processes more efficient, we're going to change the schedule in terms of rather than
the frequency of recording and stuff,
and try and get a few episodes if we can ahead. Things like, I mean, that'll be hard because we'd almost, the break now would be having to, do you know what I mean? We'd have to have a break, recording the break, and then but still, I think if we do some back-to-back episodes, we can try and get them done, and it does help having one
it really
in
does.
the bank, and then obviously scheduling posts, things like that, having the post ready to be scheduled. Again, you're not frantically talking to each other going, what is this done, we need to get this out, has that got captions, is this
I think that's it. But I think we'd be like flipping Mum's question on the head. I think what we've been able to do from literally day one is just be very transparent with each other, like we can say stuff that is not critical. We just have this. I would like to think we've got a relationship where we can say something and we're taking it with the intention as they're saying that because for the benefit of the podcast or to make that better. For sure. And it's a nice way of communicating, because I don't know, we wouldn't have lasted 2 years if we were taking it personally.
No, like No, it's a great question, but almost quite a hard question to answer.
She's really put us on the spot.
Yeah, because
Why do you want to break us up, Mum?
Yeah, God damn it, Lisa.
Yeah, we're going to go couples therapy after this.
But genuinely, like, there's apart from like I said, like you said, misalignment sometimes,
On the time.
but I don't even think
that's your musician
that's
past,
just,
I reckon.
Probably, yeah. But we're talking about the last couple of weeks. We've been talking about, as I said, getting things a bit more efficient, and that will hopefully sort out that issue. But apart from that, there's not really anything.
I'm going to answer.
Go on then.
It's your occasional farts in the background of your voice notes.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, thanks for dropping me there, mate. Yep. I think you did one once, though. I will say.
I've definitely done one. Yeah. But it's just lads, isn't it? It's just fun. Lads. Right, that's it, Tom.
I realised that I haven't been talking to the mic then. I was like,
no, that's it. I think we're done. I think we've covered the points that I wanted to cover. And I'd look forward to the next 2 years of the podcast.
Yes, mate.
If we're here, sitting here in 2 years' time in another 69 episodes, we've got to be making money by then.
20, yeah.
There has to be some
20,000, but it's
revenue
got to be more than 20,000 plays by then.
Oh, my goal is early part of 2026 we've hit 20,000 downloads audio.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And let's see where the YouTube channel is as well. But again, just another reminder before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow and rate and review the podcast.
Like, you just can't reiterate it enough.
Just so important.
It's important and people don't do it, and I get it, but just do it.
Yeah. Should we fist bump to end? Okay, bye.
Bye.
That was good, man. I enjoyed that. That was a nice chat. I enjoyed that. We should